What's going on, guys? Christian here from CK Wraps. Today, I'm going to do a full-blown real-time video of how I wrap the entire side of a vehicle using color PPF. Again, I left the corner mostly dry. We're going to take that, just pull it somewhat tight across. This is a hybrid insulation film or type of material. This one is particularly from Aura, and it's their Hyper PPF. The color is called, I had to take the swatch book out because it's a long name, and I got it wrong in the first video. It's called Hyper Gloss Diamond Nebula Gray Red. Okay, it's a long name. That's the color though. I think I mentioned a different color in the first video of the walk around. So just to make that clear. What's the advantage of doing this or having a hybrid insulation material? Well, I did the lower rocker panel. I'm going to put a clip there for you, time lapse it. I did the lower rocker panel, dry insulation. Now, why did I do dry insulation? Well, that's because it's small. It's easy enough to do when it's very small like that and comes out still looking good. It just comes out looking a lot better when you do large flat areas with a wet installation. So I was able to get the lower rocker panel done, and I did that first because I didn't want to wet everything and then try to get the lower rocker panel wrapped afterwards when everything's wet. It's just going to be annoying. I could have done a wet install on it as well, but it took me 20 minutes, 19 minutes from beginning to end, other than wiping it down, which I already did before, to get the lower rocker panel done. So 20 minutes versus like less than that to get it set up with wet apply, but then I have to come back to it later when it's dry, wrap around the edges and so forth. So it's all about your approach in getting this set up. I'm gonna put also a clip there of how I cut out the panels for the side of the vehicle, because each panel is individual, but I did cut that out of one large section. The section that I cut out, the length, well, it's 5 feet tall, so 60 inches, but the length was 135 inches, so about 11 feet, just over 11 feet. Pretty big piece, okay? So gives me extra, I gave myself extra on the end so I have some wiggle room left and right, and that allows me to get everything cut out in one large sheet. If you guys enjoy the videos, don't forget to like and subscribe. Also check out my website, ckwraps.com. The link's in the top corner and the description below as always. Giving away the first month free, open forum discussion board. You can ask me any questions you want. I answer them every single day. Some people have been on there for years and still ask questions. So just there, letting you know it's there to help. I also have the YouTube members only section for exclusive videos that are on my website. They are on the YouTube members. You just don't have access to ask me questions really and post pictures. Bit of a difference if you want that. So anyways, that's all there. Let's get into this. So this film's gone down like butter. The other side of the car looks phenomenal. I'm so happy the customer chose this. What you're going to need is slip solution. So I have baby shampoo. I have 2 bottles of this. I even have a backup jug so I can mix in just in case I run out. I don't think I'm going to use all this, but this is about 3 liters right here. It's about 1.5 liters or so each bottle. And then I have tack solution, which is, I put a little bit of isopropyl alcohol in here and then distilled water for the rest of it. It's about 3% alcohol. So it's not much. You're going to use a squeegee, preferably one that's meant for PPF because we're doing a wet installation as opposed to dry, which I used this side. I used the buffer side on this squeegee. Now I can use this one on this side as well because it's soft enough and pliable enough to use for PPF. I've used it many, many times. I'm just switching it up for the fun of it. We're doing a lot of wraps lately, so let's get into this. Okay, so to show you how you can do this against the vehicle, and this is already all prepped. So minus my time of prepping and removing the door handles and the mirror and the trim, we're gonna see how this goes, okay? So everything's clean, blowing it off with compressed air, and you can do this on the vehicle like I'm about to show you. It does help that most of this vehicle is magnetic, so I'm able to use magnets, as you can see. A lot of vehicles these days don't have magnets, so all you do, are not steel, so all you do is peel back a corner and stick it to something like the glass here or whatever, because you're gonna be trimming off your corners and stuff usually anyways. So it can be done without tables. I have 2 8-foot tables here, and I use those a lot. But this time I'm just going to show you how to do it on the car if you don't have the garage space or whatever to have the tables, because you can do it like this. I'm going to move this down because it's way off, and you can see those pieces are just moved out of the way right now. It's way off right now. There is some minor damage. This car was repaired at some point. From what the customer told me, there was holes in the door. I feel like there would be just dents because I don't see any respray or any paint job on it. It looks pretty good if there is, because usually I can tell. That being said, I mean, again, I don't see it. I couldn't tell any difference in the paint. So I think it was just dense. Customer said it was holes. I don't know. Anyways, it's been repaired. There's some dings still. There's a ding there. There's a ding over there. It is what it is. Let's take our slip solution, get the bottle pumped up and ready. And I'll zoom the camera in a bit so you guys can see better. So let's, because you don't have to focus on the rest of the vehicle anymore. So let's get this over a bit and show you how this goes down. Perfect. I'll move the camera around as we go. All right, so first things first, right-handed or left-handed, choose whatever side you're gonna peel the liner off of or start at. I'm starting at this side because I'm right-handed. Is that on camera? I can move over just a little bit. So let's just move the camera over a bit more. Kick the hose out of the way here. There we go. Because you don't need to see the back door at all. So something like that should be good. Okay. Yeah, that's there. Okay, so let's peel off the release liner just a little bit. And let's put my magnet back over here. Again, if you can't use magnets, just peel up a corner, stick it to something, peel up a corner and stick it to something. That's all. Now, before I peel off the liner, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna fold the material back, wet the door. Don't have to wet the liner because we're peeling that off. And just wet the door, okay? With our slip solution. Now, I'm gonna begin to peel off my liner. Now, it's a little bit tricky to peel off the liner with this stuff because it's very pliable, it's very soft. So when you have a large piece like this, it can be a little tricky. So just take your time with it. Don't get frustrated. It gets a little annoying sometimes, especially like the hood and sometimes the bumpers. And try not to position yourself behind the material because you're gonna be creating static as you do this, and you don't want to draw in loose particles or contaminants. Okay, so now I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna wet some of this on the back, but I'm not gonna wet the corner because I'm gonna use the corner to stick to the car. That's okay that the liners kind of went back up a little bit. Let's just pull it back down a bit more. There we go, so I can grab it better. Okay, let's put that back over here. Cool. I have another magnet right here. Let's put that down just for safe measure. And then now we can open it up from this side and pull the liner off the rest of the way while wetting the material and the door if needed. So gently, because I don't want to pull the material off the vehicle. And that's sort of why I should tack the bottom corner down. Let's do that because it's going to help. So if I just put a magnet there we go. That'll help a lot. There we go. Much easier. Okay, so again, same thing. Open that up, keep it open. We're wetting the door first just because in case the material touches it dry, we don't want to cause any issues with glue lines and so forth because it will create a glue line. So this is why we wet the door just in case the material is dry when it touches. So again, I'm not wetting the top corner over here just so I can get a bit of tack on the top side. Let's position that back up where it needs to go, somewhere there. And we can just throw a magnet down like that. Now, we also want to wet the surface because we're going to be using the hard edge of the squeegee. And that's going to drag the material if it's not wet, okay? Let's take this, let's pull that out a bit, flatten that out just a bit, a little bit there. See how much nicer that looks? A little bit over here. And then we'll be able to squeegee this down in basically no time and then move on to the next door. I'll show you, I'm gonna even show you how to cut this when it's wet. I do advise, as beginners to wait until it's dry, but just in case you wanna go at it. Okay, so make sure you're overlapping those passes. It's very important to be thorough with this, guys. Super, super, super important. We're gonna do everything. We're gonna do the quarter panel. Well, we're gonna do the quarter panel and 2 doors in this video. So you're gonna see what it takes to get it set up. And then you just move on to something else. Like after this, I'm just gonna do the hood because I haven't done the hood yet. You can press firmly. You just don't want to press too hard because what happens is you end up dragging the material and that creates a bit of an issue. So we've got fluid pooling right here. So bring that back up or out. That's because I didn't squeegee the top yet. So it's running through or running down. We can get rid of the magnets. We don't need those anymore. Okay. Okay, so that's all up to the top edge. comb through it, make sure that we don't hear. I can hear it there. There's a bubble right there and there. And here. Because again, the slip solution is running through the material because it has air release pattern in it. So it runs through a bit more than clear PPF. So just keep an eye on it. And keep an eye out for this area, especially right here. It's very important because the water will pool in the door handle cup and there's some bubbles right there. And then it will run into the material. So just make sure you're getting it all out as best you can. We've got to do here still, so we haven't gone past the bottom edge yet. And it's like, you can see how easy it is to squeegee, right? Like it's not a, just be, again, be very, very, very thorough. But it's super easy to squeegee. Okay, so this probably won't go down just yet. I have to either use tack solution or wait a bit more for it to dry. It doesn't matter. One or the other. Okay, water's pooling here. That's okay. You can see, hopefully see that bubble that's coming through right there. We're gonna get some tack solution in here now, okay? Very important. We're gonna flush our edges out so there's no baby shampoo. Okay, and then when I do that, I'm gonna wet the surface. You can see the fluid running in at the top. Wet the surface, and then nice firm passes, get that to tack, okay? So now it shouldn't really run through as much. Oh, ran through right there a bit, that's okay. Let's put a little more tack solution right here. Just peel up that corner, there's lots of soap there still, I see it. Okay, little slip again. Don't get your slip solution behind it because that'll obviously defeat the purpose. You can see in here how the material is already tacked, right? That's the advantage of tack solution. Okay, what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna cut. When you cut, let's move the camera just a bit more. There we go. When you cut, you wanna have a very sharp blade. So snap off a blade, especially when it's wet, okay? Because the blade will drag the material and then it's going to jump and create like these wrinkles. So we don't want that to happen. I also hold it tight when I do it. Now I don't want to put the knife too deep here because there is a door edge here that kind of sticks out. And this is going to allow me to wet this edge. It's tight enough to the fenders right now so I can cut all the way down, I think, without jumping. So, what was I saying? Yeah, I don't remember. It's okay. Can't see my door edge, so we're gonna start down here. I'm gonna cut my corners rounded because that's how you do nice corners. Cool. Let's go up a bit higher here. And then we're gonna take this piece off almost entirely, not yet, because we have to get rid of, we have to do a cut coming down. Be careful, the material will run very easily, okay? It's PPF, so it runs super easily. Okay, what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna do this side right here. So let's move the camera over here so it's more focused in that area. I'll angle it down just a bit. The knife's getting jammed up a little bit. I bought these different blades. They're actually pretty terrible. So I thought I'd try them. It said they were carbon steel. I don't know, but they're not good. They snap off terribly. Not clean at all. Okay, so keep going. It's a little bit loose there. I don't want to jump. There we go. Keep it tight. Okay, we're going to cut around our corner again here, but still leave enough to wrap around. And then now we're going to do a slit. There we go. Let's get rid of this almost. We got to finish up the cut at the top. And then we're going to tack these edges. I'm also, while I'm here, let's cut the door handle area out. So I'm gonna cut a slit. Just trying to feel where the little plastic thing is. I'm not gonna cut this out entirely. We're just gonna cut so that we can get some tack solution in there. Okay, that's good. Because the last thing you want is to have soap in this area, and you can see it's pooling, right? All right, let's get a little slip on it. And then, where did I put my small squeegee? I actually have a rounded shell-shaped squeegee for door handle pockets like this, or door handle cups. And we're just gonna get rid of a bunch of that fluid, that slips or tack solution that's in there, because that's gonna help it dry a lot faster. But it's not gonna stick down right now, okay? When we want it to stick down, it's gonna dry entirely. That's how we're gonna get that to stick down. So we're just gonna come back to it later. So again, I'm just trying to squeegee out as much of the residual fluid. As you can see, there's lots in there. Let's use a wider squeegee. That one's not that wide. Worst case, I can take this and probably drag it out to the side right over here. So there we go. That got rid of a bunch. There's still pooling, so let's take it back down again and out this way. Cool. And let's see if it pulls some more. A little bit right there. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to hold that tight, bring that down. To get this to tack faster, you can use steam, hot water, whatever. It will tack a lot faster. That should be good getting out. I'll keep an eye on it, but it should be good getting out most of that residual water. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take this edge over here, okay? And we're going to tack this. I'm just going to keep my finger behind it and lift the edge slowly as I go along. Cool. You want to squeegee that out, just in case it's sprayed into the door area. We don't want that. Cool. So that should be good. Is this still pooling? Let's have a look. Not so much, just maybe a little bit right there. Or it's just not. Yeah, it is a little bit. There's some pooling water. Okay, another piece of advice here when you're new to this, because your squeegeeing is not going to be that great and you're going to miss spots. So my suggestion is to keep a towel with you, dry one, and wipe the panel off kind of as you go. So for example, what did I do with that cloth? Thought it was here. Let's just use this one, it's fine. For example, just dry it off so you can see what's under the film and what's on top of the film, because you can't tell what's underneath the film when there's water droplets all over it. If you leave a bubble behind, it's not the worst thing. You can get it out afterwards. Just use an air release tool. It's not a huge deal, but just so we can have a look here, everything looks pretty good to me. I do see fluid right there. There we go. Let's bring that in from the edge. And again, that's easy. We can fix that afterwards just by lifting slightly, because since we have access right here. So I'm not terribly concerned about that. Let's go. We can open the door now. So I'm gonna have to open the door from the inside. I could probably do it there, but I don't want to disturb the environment too much. Cool. So let's tack that edge. I might have to mix some more tack solution. It's already dry, pretty dry here. I might have to mix some tack solution at some point. And then while we're here, let's do the bottom. Okay, so I did the very bottom edge. And at least that's all tacked at this moment. I'm gonna move the camera back a bit and get that angled a bit more down to show you. I'm gonna get this squeegeed out a bit more on the bottom here. Especially here. Yeah, never squeegee the material with a dry surface and a hard edge of your squeegee. It's not going to go over very well, just letting you know. So that's down. It's nice. You can hear the bubble. It's easy to leave fluid behind once you kind of come across body lines. So put extra emphasis, like I am, on those body lines. I heard some there too. You hear that? It goes like, it's not a squeaking sound. It's like a. Okay, so this is ready to chill. We're going to go on to the back door. Same exact thing, more or less. But I wanted to show you in real time how this goes. Zoom back a bit so I can figure out camera positioning. Let's get the front door all the way open as well. Cool. Great. All right, so I don't really need to clean this, but if you're concerned, you can wipe it down again. Should be okay. Only thing that might settle on the surface is some dust, but dust won't generally show through the wrap. Hard particles will, like dirt, hair, coarse particles, I mean. Hair follicle, stuff like that. Okay, I've got plenty on that side. I'm just lining it up. Could go a little bit more this way just to have more so I can wrap into the door jamb area just a bit. There we go, it's not much. And then let's wet the door. Now we're gonna peel up the liner again, leave the corner dry, but so I can tack it to something. This part right here is the most annoying part. Once you get the hang of it, I mean, it helps to have an extra set of hands with it, but once you get the hang of it, it's not so bad. You can see that I even struggle with this, and this is with any color PPF. One little tip here, I prefer to remove the liner when it's a little cooler actually in a workspace, because that actually makes the liner release better. Stay down, just so I can get some slip on it. Okay, and then we're gonna tack that corner right up here. And then we're gonna try to pull the liner a bit more like this. There we go. And then while I'm here, I'm going to wrap that around the back just to give myself some grab because it should be dry on the back. And then I should be able to pull the liner off now a little more easily. There we go. It helps when it's tight at the top and the bottom. Don't do that because you could draw particles in from your body, but do as I say, not as I do sometimes. If I have to replace the piece because I got something on it, then so be it. But you don't want to have to do that. Okay, same idea. Again, I left the corner mostly dry. We're going to take that, just pull it somewhat tight across. We're going to take here, pull a little tighter if we can. There we go, that way. Let's take this, put that there, and we're basically ready to go. I'm going to show you a little trick also. When it comes to this area here, we're going to put a little stretch on the material. It kind of throws off how the material installs, so do as you want. You can just put an inlay in there if you're having a hard time doing it one piece, not a huge deal. But what I like to do is I like to stretch it over this, but I'm going to start my stretch from the bottom and I'm going to bring it to the top. So what I'm going to do first is anchor through basically the high point here, so through the middle-ish. And I'm not going to go too high up here, so because I want to stretch from here over. Let's put a little more emphasis right here. So hopefully it kind of grabs on really nicely. This way we don't have pooling water afterwards. We can remove our magnets now, it doesn't matter. It's just a glass roof, so let's put that up there. Just squeegee out, nice and thorough. I'm gonna put a little bit of stretch coming down, just a tiny bit. But again, this sort of throws things off, so you don't have to do this. It's just what I like to do. Okay, I'm gonna go a little bit more over, oops, wrong squeegee. Just lift that up and just let that sit. Cool. Squeegee more of this out. This side's easy. This side's a bit more complicated. I'll move the camera again so you can see better. Okay, so we're gonna focus on this corner here. Let's zoom in, zoom in more and show you what I'm gonna do right there. Let's get the tack solution. I see fluid here, so let's go back and get that first. Just keep your eye out, okay? Like always looking at the panel in different angles, different point of view, because you'll see that you miss stuff. Okay, so we lift that corner up. Let's make sure we've got some good pressure here. Testing, making sure the mic's working, good to go. Lots of pressure there. Just might as well tack all that bottom edge. Cool, and then we're gonna pull this down. Should have foot slip on the surface. There we go. And I'm pulling it down to this corner here because now it's gonna create tightness over top of this body line. And when we go to roll in, it's gonna roll in much, much nicer. So that's why I pull it tight around these body lines. You can see I have even squeegee here and it's sticking. That's just a tack. There we go, it's coming up a little bit. I knew it would. It's okay, I don't want it to come up fully. I just want it to stay mostly tight. Come on, there. Again, this doesn't have to go down perfectly to the edge right away. It doesn't matter. Come back to it in a bit. Don't stress yourself out. When it dries, because you can let it dry and just finish your edges up. It's super simple that way. Okay, so same thing here. I'm gonna take this, we're gonna tack, and then while I have this, I'm gonna tack all the inside edge, so I might as well just do it now. Okay, we still have slip up here, that's good. But let's take it and then pull up and over that. So this way the material naturally curls in to this area here. You see I'm still holding, I'm holding the entire time. I don't want to let go yet because I'm still squeegeeing. I might as well just hold it while I squeegee out whatever I can. Okay, so I can't reach anymore. I'm going to let go. That should stay. We'll tack that there just in case. Hopefully it'll hold it. We'll squeegee out a bit more of the slip, and then we have to tack the top edge. Not even on camera again, so let's move the camera. Probably missed some of that. Sorry about that. Here we go. Let's get it back to center. Cool. All right. So let's get our top edge tacked. And again, don't be overly concerned if the water starts to run into the wrap. Squeegee it out. Like kind of like right there. So we want to work that mainly from top to bottom because the door is running down like this. And you can see it, the film just sticks, it goes right in there. When you add enough tack solution and you do it properly, it'll just go in there. Now it won't go in here until I release this, so let's release that. And you can see I'm doing like a Pac-Man style motion as well. There we go. Very good. All right. Don't have to cut anything off on this side, and it's already tacked. Let's just go over it. Cool. But we do want to cut this side over here. Thought I saw a bubble, but I think it was just fluid. And let's squeegee it off so I can see. Yeah, I can hear that. Hear that? Hear that sound? That's a bubble. Bring that right out. It's just extra fluid. That's another one there, very small one, and another one right there. Another one there. Okay. Keep combing through it. You can either dry it off with a towel or do what I'm doing. I prefer to do it this way because, see, you can hear that one, because I can squeegee it out at the same time as I'm kind of clearing the material off. Another one there. I see another one right there. Let's go that way with it. It's closer. Got it. That's all good there. And this mainly happens because there are air channels and the fluid is water. It does run through very, very slowly. So until you get your edges kind of sealed up or the extra water out, it doesn't really, it has a chance to run through. Over here is just a dent, and there was another one wherever, I don't know, over here maybe, I don't remember, somewhere. Okay, let's cut out this section now, and then we can trim off some of that. We can tack all that, and then we're ready for the quarter panel, just like that. I'm gonna snap a blade off because I've used it a couple times. Blades are terrible. It's so hard to snap though. Okay, let's move the camera so you can see more. Zoom back a bit. There we go. Let's fix up that so it's a bit more straight. There. That didn't work out. Just gonna cut better when it's more straight. Okay. Don't put your blade out too far here either. You'll cut the quarter panel on the inside. Those are just my fingers squeaking. There we go. And then when I get down here, I'm going to cut around the corner just a bit. There we go. Now I can trim out a whole bunch of this using my left hand to guide me so I know I'm not cutting too close. Let's finish the cut off at the top. Perfect. Okay, so over here, we might as well open this up right now. Tack it, and then tack that edge and that edge. So I'm gonna cut just under there. Cool. And again, you wanna get a lot of the pooling water out of here because it's gonna take forever to dry. There's a little trick as well. You can use compressed air. So if you know that you've done a really good job of your preparation, I'll just do it. If I screw it up, there's risk because if you get fluid underneath, if this blows debris around or something, then you're gonna have it behind your wrap. So there's risk to it. All right, and then what I was saying, here, let's just get out most of this first before I soak myself by squeegeeing it. Oh, sorry, by blowing it out, but so you can see, I'll show you what the compressor will do. That's not sticking at all, it's just forming in there a bit from pressure. It'll come back out all by itself eventually. Okay, so here, I don't know if I'll turn the volume down, maybe I will for this. And then we want to get, if you want it to go faster, just do this. Again, there's always risk when you do that, okay? But I haven't had any issues with it, but I do a lot of prepping. You also want to have a little filter on your compressor when you do stuff like that, because it will shoot stuff out from the tank. So that way, nah, it won't stick yet. It's just too much moisture right now. It's okay. Don't stress yourself out with that kind of stuff, trying to make it work. You just come back to it afterwards. Bottom, we're good. So let's just open that up. And then let's tack that inside edge right here. I think I'm gonna have to make some more tack for the quarter panel. That's okay. Cool. And then that bottom corner I noticed was loose. I see the other ding now. So move the door back just for a second so you can see. That's gonna be enough. I have to angle the camera down just a bit. Okay. The other ding is right there. I'm gonna squeegee that out. I saw that corner kind of came up when I was shooting it with tack solution. And just go over that. Cool. All right, so we should be good to go. I see pooling water there a bit still, so I'll come back to that in a little bit. That's fine if it pools. I'll just, as long as it's not running like into the door, you're okay. Quarter panel time, but what I have to do with the quarter panel is I have to close the doors. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the quarter panel. Let's just zoom this back. I'm going to dry off the edge, okay? So I'm going to use a heat gun and compressed air. I'm going to blow this off with compressed air. I'm just going to let this sit for like 5 minutes so some of the tack solution that I just applied runs off and allows the material to just settle for a bit. And then I'm going to use my my heat gun, and then I'm going to roll this edge around so I can close the door, because I want to close the door. This way I can have a nice straight cut by using the top edge of the trim right here. So I want to show you how to do that. So, I mean, it's probably good to go right now. It feels like it's sticking pretty well. When I use compressor, I don't go high pressure. I have it set to on my tank about 30 or 40. But I'm not even going full throttle on this either. Let's do the other door as well while we're here. So let's get that back on camera. As soon as I can close the door, it'll be good. I'm not worried about this edge. This edge, I can still close this door and close the other door on it. It's not going to do any damage, but just be careful. We'll blow off the bottom while we're here too. It'll help it go a little faster. Once you get that running water out of there, it dries so much faster, obviously. Let's do the bottom over here as well. So okay. A little bit of an annoying sound for you guys, but that will dry much faster. And then before I let it fully dry, I'm just going to go over it and make sure that I didn't blow the edge off of the vehicle. Saw it kind of lift down here a little bit, so I just want to make sure it's all good. Cool. I'll do the same thing on the other door, this one here. And then I'll be able to heat gun them in about, I don't know, 5 minutes. It's already, look, if I take this one, it's sticking already. Okay, so that's fast. It's sticking really well, actually. So I'm just gonna give it a few more minutes. So I'm gonna pause the camera. I'm gonna leave the door and camera exactly where it is. I'm gonna come back to this in about 5 minutes. All right, guys, we're back. I'm gonna give it a go. Should be pretty good. It's only literally been about 5 minutes. I'm gonna grab my heat gun. It's right here. Let's get Release liner out of the way there. Let's move my bottles because I don't need those right now. And then let's roll this around. So you're gonna want your glove as usual, what you would use with a vinyl wrap, and heat gun. So to show you, let's try and, where's the best place for the camera? That's pretty good, I think. All right, let's just do it. We're gonna heat, I generally heat like these body line corners here. I heat them from the backside, and then I press on them from the top side and just get them down and around. Same thing, like a bit up there. And then I'm gonna follow through a bit with the material. So let's heat it again. Let's follow through the rest of it. And I don't know how well this will work. It should go, but it seems pretty dry. But you never know. Okay, now let's hit that corner right here again. Press that down and around a little bit more, not all the way just yet. So as you can see, it's not fully down yet. Still on camera, still on camera, good. You can see that I'm wrinkling up, right? But I won't have wrinkles when I'm finished because I'm applying enough pressure and an ample amount of heat. If you have one wrinkle, whatever, man. It's not a huge deal, but I shouldn't have any. So press really firmly there, heat, press firm, same thing. And let's get that down around. I'll show you what the backside looks like when I'm done. Got one teeny little tiny one right there. It's really nothing. It's okay. I'm still dealing with a bit of water, I think, but it's pretty good. It'll allow me to close the door at least. This way I can get the quarter panel going. I'll trim this excess off afterwards, but we'll just get this out of the way. Actually, here, you want to see the inside? Can we see it from that angle? Yeah, so that edge right there is not sticking that well yet. It's probably just a little bit wet. There we go. Let's try now. Right here too. I'm going to go over this again. Since I'm kind of rushing this right now, I'm going to go over it again. Let's get the camera over here so you can see a bit better what that edge looks like. Okay, so the tiniest little wrinkle right there, crease. That's it. Maybe one at the top right there. Let's do the other door, same thing. Let's get that out of the way. Let's get the camera over a bit more this way and get you into this position here. Is that good? That's pretty good. Maybe if I angle it down just a bit to get the bottom, because we're gonna do the whole side on this one. I didn't do the bottom on that one because it's not in the way when I do the quarter panel. I might as well just let that dry. So same thing, heat a bit from the back. Make sure that door doesn't move too much. There we go, lock it in place. Get that corner around, so there we go. It'll also help dry it a bit by heating it from this side, and, you know, in this situation here where I'm sort of rushing it. This is what you don't really want to do. You can do it, but there's literally no need. I'm only doing this simply for the video. Otherwise, I would just move on to something else and let it dry naturally. Because this, when you rush it, this is how you make mistakes. Got vocal here. Yeah. Wasn't sure if I turned my mics off or not when I took that 5-minute pause. I figured I didn't, but. Okay. And that turned out super clean, going all the way through. It wasn't that important to get this edge done. I just did it because I'm gonna close the door. I don't want it to get in the way of the leftover material that's there on that door. So that's why I did it. Let's go over it. So that's good to go on that door side. Now, when we open this, or sorry, when we close this door over here, I did notice, where was it? Is that a bubble? Yeah, there we go. It just went away, actually. Must have been air. And then across the top edge here, I can just probably finish this if it's dry enough. Maybe not. That's a bubble right there. No, that's just in the paint. Still pretty wet, so I'm not going to cut that yet. There's literally no point in doing that. It just might as well dry. Same thing with the top edge here. I see that I can squeegee it out a bit more. I'm going to release it from here and just get in there. And if we leave ourselves with some material, we can lift it up and you know, if we get any bubbles in here, we can deal with it afterwards. Curious to see how, that's already starting to dry. See that? See that's starting to stick in there? It's still got moisture, but it's starting to dry already. So we leave that a little bit longer. Let's close the door. Again, we should be good. Let's just watch that section right here. And you know what? Let's open this door back up and fix this. See if I can get it locked in to place around the backside just for now. There we go. That will just get it out of the way and keep the material tight. There's a bubble right there. Body lines. Again, focus on your body lines more than anything else because that's where you will leave fluid or air or whatever. Let's wrap that around as well. There we go. All that's getting cut off around the backside anyways. It'll give you enough to wrap in here though. All right, so now I can close the door more safely without damaging the material, the excess material that is there. Let's close here. And actually what I'm going to do here is I'm going to cut this off right up there. Get that a little closer to you there. It's just going to get in my way when I do the quarter panel. Quarter panel is a big piece that you don't want to mess up. I mean, other than getting debris under it or cutting too short or something, it's not likely to mess it up, but you could. So just keep in mind, make it the quarter panel as easy as possible for yourself. Oops. All right, let's put that back down. Cool. Let's put this one back down. Just watching as I do that. Close all the way. There we go. And the door, this door didn't even touch that material there. I was listening for it. Is that a shadow? Yeah, it was a shadow. And again, I make sure this edge is nice and tight before it dries entirely. Just checking the bottom. It's all about examining and being thorough. Cool. All right, so that was a few minutes there. Now we can do the quarter panel. So let's zoom back so we can show you how to get this set up, and then I'll move the camera around as we need to. This side's always a bit more, is it harder for me? I can't remember now. I think this side's a little bit harder for me to get the liner off, but done it many times. That's okay. And I'm gonna get this release liner out of my way. And the other door piece right here. Cool. So let's wet the surface. Got my slip solution, it's right here. Again, I have my backup bottle still. So I've gone through for the door, for both doors, about half. Using the slip right now will also help kill some of the static. There's a lot of static. Okay, let's shift this. Let's leave that magnet there. Let's remove the back one. Let's move this one to here. Let's move that one. And there's still something holding the wrap, the film on the car. Let's move that entirely forward. You're probably wondering how I'm going to get in here. I'm going to show you how far in I wrap, and then I'm going to wrap pretty far in, like reasonably far to get coverage. Okay, so let's just put a magnet here for a second and examine my placement. Let's put that extra material, just rest it right there. I want to make sure that we're not too far forward. Okay, we've got plenty on the back. So I've got about 3 inches here. I'm past the door. This is the gap right here between the door and the quarter panel. So that's important, we're good there. And then we're past the window and we're low enough and we're high enough. So again, making sure that all that is good. Okay, let's bring this way and then just kind of let that sit there. I might just pivot the material slightly like that. So just wanted to pivot it. So, you know, awkward position. Cool. And yes, one thing I didn't mention is that the cap sheet has already been removed. So there's no cap sheet on this. That's why, you know, it's going to be softer and easier to handle at this point. Once the liner comes off, it becomes a lot easier. All right, let's cut off some of the end here of too much, just a bit, nothing too much, nothing too crazy. And then we're gonna get our slip solution. I'm gonna work this direction. Let's wet that one more time. What I wanna do is also squeegee off here a little bit just so it tacks a bit better to the fender. And I'll keep a magnet handy. Let's put that there. This isn't as vulnerable as clear PPF is. And what I mean by that is that you're not really going to run into as much of an issue with lint and debris, like just lint in general, because, is that even on the camera in the front there? Probably not. Because it's not clear. So I might be getting very fine fibers in the adhesive because I'm not wearing like nylon and anti-static and whatever else. I am being careful, but just FYI, I wanted to let you know that because it's important that when you do clear PPF, the process is going to be quite a bit different. Okay, so this is the trickier part, is to get it to sort of form and bend around this, which I need it to. Okay, so that's looking pretty good right there. I'm going to lock that in. Okay, so this way I can pull a bit that way, and this way we're good. So I might as well squeegee this out right now. I'm using the wrong squeegee. The risky part going this direction with this right now is because I'm stretching towards the back. So if I'm off, we're good there, okay. If I'm off and I stretch too much this way, we're gonna miss being able to wrap into our door. So I should be okay. If not, I can move it. I just don't want to stretch way too much. Yeah, so it's barely any stretch on it right now. So everything should kind of stay in a similar position. Okay, once I get to here, just keep going, just keep going, whatever. This awkward angle. Okay, let's pull that a tad bit tighter right there. There we go. And just hold that in place. Slip it so I can get it locked in. You don't really need tack solution all the time. That was awkward. Let's pull the muscle with that angle. You don't need tack solution all the time to get it to tack. Like, I just need, if you have a big enough area, it'll hold. Okay, so now what we can do is we can get our magnets off. I'm gonna take one, just stick it on the back here. Let's take this one, put it on the glass roof, get that out of the way. This one, I don't even think we need it anymore, so let's get rid of that one. And let's pull off the rest of the liner. Okay, again, trying to keep everything in place. I just pivoted there, so there we go. It's close. Almost slightly off here. I stretched a bit much this way. It's still okay. It's just, I'll deal with it. That's another awkward reach. It's okay. Okay, let's get that. Squeeze it out. Okay. I can come in here and I can probably swing into the window a little bit, which will bunch it up, but that's okay. I'm not worried about that at all. And you can do this with the hatch open or closed. You can see mine's partially open. It's not all the way open, but it's partially open. I use the hatch since in this case, it's steel. I was able to put a magnet on it, but other times I would just use the hatch to tack like the dry edge of the material. This way it'll hold in place. Okay, so my slip solution, I put it right here. Let's get it pumped up a little bit and let's get it wet from underneath as we go. So pull off about that much. I can hold it with the liner. Let's pull off more. And I'll just flip that up. Do not do that with clear PPF. You will most likely draw in contamination. Okay, that's good. All right, so we're good in here-ish. I'm just thinking, what I can do here, watch this. I'm gonna do a cutout. I have tape on the trim here, I know that, but I'm just gonna stay away from it right now. Where's the edge? The edge is right there. Yeah, you're on camera. Okay. And I should be able to shimmy it better this way. There we go. So we're kind of more back into place now. This I have to fix, but I'll just pull that way. See that? So there we go. We can start to see what's happening here, right? See? Cool. Okay, so I want to get this locked in. Let's get it. There we go. Okay. So that should be okay. Now I should be able to pull a bit more towards the back. And we're still good on the top. We're perfect on the top. I actually have to kind of swing it up a bit, so it's going to work out just fine. So here, let's pull through right here. There we go. See that? Put my hand there. And then now let's get in here. I'm not even worried about this at all. Once I cut around here, it's going to go down a lot better. This is popping up here because of right here, okay? So it's stuck to there. As soon as I bring that up and underneath, I'll be able to pull through just like that. See that? And then that's okay that that happened. We'll deal with that as long as it stayed in the same position. We're good. Okay, so let's go back up here. Okay, we're good. We're all the way up and around that edge. And that's kind of like a bit of a scarier part, I guess. All this is going to be good. You're going to see it's going to go down nice and tight to the edge. So we're good there. So maybe you can see there. There we go. So you can see that that's going to go down nicely there. Once I trim here, this is going to go down so much better. We have other stuff to squeegee, so do your squeegeeing first and then focus on the other stuff afterwards. But you want to get the fluid out ASAP. So we're going to take this, we're going to tack. Okay. We're going to pull and swing into the taillight area-ish. Sort of like that, but we want to watch here. We want to make sure that that's tight. I'm still going to pull a bit that way, but we want to make sure that that stays tight. Put my hand on it, hold it in place. We'll see what happens in a moment. Okay, now I have to pull that way a bit. So we're kind of pull that way, pull that way. And this is going to be exaggerated more or less depending on how curved this area is. Okay, let's tack under here. Okay, and then same thing, bring it over to here. And then what do you think I'm going to do with those fingers? Hopefully bring them back that way. Once I get this locked in. Cut that one finger there, always pulling the opposite direction. Cool, so that looks pretty good. going over everything. Hear that? It's a bubble. Another one. Hear that again. There's another one. Those are just above the body line. There's another one there. Another one there. You can see two. So again, be super thorough. Okay, so here, let's see. How close are we? Oh, there's the edge right there. It's beautiful. This big bubble right there. There we go. So again, going over it. A couple of small ones right there. Another one right there. Some of these bubbles will dry, but you just don't know if they will always. So better off to get rid of them in the moment. All right, now that I don't need the hatch anymore, let's lift it up. That'll get it out of the way, and I can finish up this back corner here. We're gonna get in here also. And then this has just gotta dry basically. But I'm gonna come back and show you how we do the rest once it dries more thoroughly. Let's get in here. Last bit right here. And I'm just gonna, oh, I have slip here. I was gonna use tack as a slip on the surface, but that's okay, I had the slip. Okay, so we're gonna get tack in everywhere. I just got tack in here. Let's get a bit more for the top. Cool, that's good. Let's cut out off some of this. Let's cut out this. Cut a nice circular shape here. Don't cut off too much because you never know when you might have to come back and lift the material up a little bit to get a bubble out or something. Like I can see some bubbles along the edge here. See that? It's not quite tight. So don't cut it all off yet. And I'm gonna wrap in a decent amount. So I always wanna leave extra. Okay, snap a blade off because I'm gonna be cutting the PPF on the PPF, which is on the bumper. So I'm gonna do over here, I'm gonna come this way. I'm gonna do a little slit once I get there. I'm gonna bring that in just like that. There we go. I'm gonna start my point of my blade right where my slit ended. I'm trying to cut over wrinkles like this, it makes it funny. So I'm just gonna pull that flatter. There we go. I'm gonna leave myself 1.5 inches, 2 inches or so. And that'll leave me enough to tuck in there and maneuver things around a little bit. Same thing down here. We do not need all this. So I'm gonna trim back, leave myself about 1 inch. I only need about 1/8 of an inch to roll around there, but leave yourself about 1 inch because you never know when you might need to do something, improvise, change something up, whatever. Okay, all the edges again get tacked. So under here, it's already been tacked, but we're gonna tack it again. It's sticking pretty well already. Okay. What lifting here does too, like right now, is that just alleviated any tension. You saw me pull this way, right? So this has now alleviated a lot of tension. This way, I know that I don't have tension at this edge anymore. It's just, I let the material do its thing by pulling back. Let's get under here. This is the trickier one to do. I can do it now, actually. I'll show you. I can just pull this back. It's not even tricky. And just pull that back like that. And that's how I'm gonna open the door. Oh, that slipped, wrong one. So when it comes time to do the door area, that's how I'm gonna open it and just roll it back like that. Let's get in here, but we're gonna trim. So there's my seals in here somewhere. I'm not gonna trim back too much yet. We're gonna trim back, I put tape here. But I'm still trying to press gentle enough to not even touch the tape. Finding my circle with my thumb here. Okay, you can see that's not sticking at all right now, right? We're gonna fix that. So my tape goes to here. That's where the door is. That's where the door begins. And that will allow me to tack under there really nicely. I'm not worried about there. That's easy. It's all kind of straight across. Now again, you can go in here and you can blow this out with compressed air. I don't think I would want to though, because it's a big, big piece. It's not like just a door. And you could get debris underneath it. Let's just start up here, because it's going to run down. Okay, let's go back over here. Just want to push that down after that. Okay. You can see it's like, it makes a big difference when you start cutting stuff away. It won't be perfect, but like it's already tucking in there right now, and it's still wet. So this won't go perfect yet because this trim sticks out a bit. Again, it's totally fine. All right, good. That's actually pretty good. Happy with that. That can dry. Let's go back over that, make sure we're good there. I saw a bubble at the edge. There, I'm not worried about it. Let's go through the rest of it. Body line, yep, there's bubbles there. I see some right here as well. You can see a lot of times I'm not pushing with my squeegee like this. I'm only pushing with my squeegee like this when I want to be more forceful, but you don't want to be too forceful. So a lot of times I'm doing like a petting motion, like this is like a sweeping motion, backhanded motion, like you're petting a cat, whatever. That's what I say. This motion, pushing, you can do it from different angles, that way, this way, whatever, that's pushing. It's the angle of your squeegee. When you're doing a petting motion, basically it's the back, you're kind of like backhanded. Let's lift that up, alleviate tension there. And then we've just got to throw tack. Sure that's good on that body line. Yeah, we're good there. Now we've just got to get tack. Now, if I have bubbles in here later on, just right here near the edge, you just lift the material up, do it dry, buffer side of your squeegee, squeegee it out like a vinyl wrap. You got a couple maybe small, teeny tiny little glue lines, don't even stress. Okay, top edge, and I had just enough tack solution for all of this. I'll mix some up. So I've got both doors done, the whole quarter panel, and used, this is 1.5 liters, this bottle. So it's like, I don't know, a quart and a half, I guess. It's already sticking on the inside, which is fine because there's tension pulling across this. So I don't really need to tack it. It's going to stay. And plus there's a nice trim under there to tuck it into, but might as well flush it a bit just for safe measure. Again, I like to be over the top thorough when it comes to things. This way I can be absolute sure on it lasting, looking good, and so on. I'm just gonna go over that. Always go over it after you shoot any kind of slip or tack solution underneath. Okay, so zoom back a bit. That's the entire side installed. How long was that part of the video? That was 30 minutes. I'm not sure how long the first one was. I'm guessing it was about 30 minutes as well. I'm gonna get into doing the front fender. The front fender is super easy on this, so I'm not even gonna record that one because it doesn't make any sense. If you can do the quarter panel, you can definitely do the front fender. So don't even stress out about doing the front fender on most cars. It's not that big of a deal. Sometimes it can be a lot harder. Either way, we're gonna cut the scene. I'm gonna let this dry. I'm gonna come back to it today, probably today. It's getting late, but it's like 3:30. Come back, I'm gonna turn the heater on, come back to like an hour, hour and a half. And in the meantime, probably wrap the hood and get the front fender done. And that's it. So in the next video, you're gonna see the hood and the front fender done. And I still have the roof to do, and then just the front bumper tomorrow and taillight tint, it's done. So guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm gonna see you in the next part of this, so stay tuned. I'm gonna keep it all together, or maybe I'll divide it into two, I don't know, because an hour already is pretty long. Maybe I'll put it into 2 parts. probably best idea. Anyways, thank you. I'll put it in 2 parts. Thank you for watching. As always, I'll see you in the next one. Take care.